If wealth had a backbone, it would be real estate. For centuries, land and property have been the foundation of stability, influence, and prosperity. Unlike paper assets, real estate is tangible. You can walk on it, build on it, live in it, and most importantly, it can generate wealth in two powerful ways: cash flow and appreciation. Cash flow through rents that keep money moving into your pocket every month, and appreciation as the property itself grows in value over time. And the numbers back it up. According to the fourth quarter of 2024 Global Real Estate Market Outlook, investment volumes, after years of uncertainty, are finally stabilizing and showing signs of recovery. In fact, sectors like logistics and residential properties are leading the comeback, fueled by demand for housing and the global growth of e-commerce. But the real secret weapon of real estate? Leverage. Think about it. With just a 10% down payment on a $1 million property, a 10% increase in value doesn't just give you $100,000 in appreciation, it effectively doubles your original investment. That's the silent multiplier wealthy investors have relied on for generations. And it doesn't just happen in theory. Consider the countless stories of ordinary investors who began with a single small property, maybe a modest fix and flip, and through sweat equity, renovations, and reinvestment, built a portfolio of multi-unit properties. Their success wasn't magic. It was the value-add strategy of making properties better, more livable, and therefore more valuable. Each improvement compounds wealth, turning one property into 10, and 10 into a legacy. This is why real estate has been revered throughout history, from ancient Rome, where land ownership was the mark of citizenship and power, to feudal Europe, where estates defined nobility. Owning land has always meant influence, stability, and control. The world changes, but the principle remains. Real estate grounds wealth in something real. And looking ahead, the story of real estate is still being written. Private capital is pouring into new markets, shaping the future of property investment. Living sectors like apartments, student housing, and senior living are becoming the new frontier, while sustainability, green buildings, energy efficiency, and smart cities are redefining what valuable property looks like in the 21st century. Here's the lesson. Real estate isn't just about bricks and land. It's about building wealth that lasts across generations, anchored in stability, yet adaptable to the future. And that's why, even today, real estate remains the land of lasting value. Owning a stock isn't just about a ticker symbol on a screen. It's about owning a piece of the world's economy. When you buy a share, you're not just speculating, you're becoming a fractional owner of a company tied directly to its growth, profits, and innovations. In its purest sense, stocks give ordinary people access to the wealth-building engine once reserved for kings, aristocrats, and industrial barons: ownership. And the results over the long run speak for themselves. The S&P 500, which tracks America's 500 largest companies, has returned an average of about 10% annually for over a century. That means that patient investors, those who commit for decades, not days, have historically been rewarded with steady, compounding growth. But perhaps even more fascinating than the returns is the story of how the market itself has changed. In the 1950s, the S&P was dominated by industrial giants: steel, oil, automobiles. Today, it's led by technology titans like NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Apple, companies riding the wave of artificial intelligence and shaping the very fabric of our future. Legendary investor Warren Buffett captured this mindset best when he said, "Buy into a company because you want to own it, not because you want the stock to go up." It's a reminder that stocks are not lottery tickets. They are slices of real businesses. And if you believe in those businesses, you're building wealth alongside their success. Consider the story of the everyday investor who decided decades ago to consistently invest in a low-cost S&P 500 index fund like Vanguard's. By putting in a few $100s every month and refusing to sell during downturns, that investor harnessed the power of compound interest. Over decades, small contributions snowballed into a retirement fund worth millions, not because of speculation, but because of patience. And the future? Stocks are evolving faster than ever. Artificial intelligence isn't just fueling company growth, it's reshaping the market itself. Sectors like AI, cloud computing, and renewable energy are exploding, while algorithmic trading is changing how markets are analyzed and traded. The edge now belongs not just to those who pick companies, but to those who understand the trends driving the next decade of growth. Here's the takeaway. Stocks are more than just financial instruments. They are tickets into the story of human progress, into the rise of industries, the power of innovation, and the building of wealth that compounds over generations. To own stocks is to own a stake in the future. If real estate is the land of stability and stocks are the pulse of the global economy, then business ownership is the beating heart of wealth creation. True wealth, the kind that changes families and even societies, often comes not from working in a business, but from owning one. When you own a business, you're not just collecting a paycheck. You're building an engine of value, an organization that generates active income, scales operations, and creates solutions for people's needs. Yes, the risks are high. We can't ignore the truth. A significant percentage of startups fail within the first few years, but those who succeed? Their returns can be life-changing. A single idea, executed well, can grow into an empire. If land and factories defined wealth in the past, today it's ideas that build empires. Intellectual property, or IP, is proof that the most valuable assets are often the ones you can't touch. Patents, copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets, these are the invisible engines that turn creativity into capital, protecting innovation and allowing creators to monetize their imagination. And the numbers show just how massive this shift has become. According to the 2024 WIPO report, global investment in intangible assets, things like software, data, and design, has skyrocketed to more than $7.6 billion trillion, surpassing investments in physical assets. We've entered a new era where ideas, not just machines, drive economic power, and the frontier is expanding even further. Digital assets like non-fungible tokens, NFTs, and virtual real estate in platforms like Decentraland represent entirely new forms of ownership, redefining what intellectual property can mean in the 21st century. The opportunities are real. Take music, for example. For decades, artists depended on record labels, often losing ownership of their work. But today, musicians can mint their songs as NFTs, selling them directly to fans while retaining ownership, and even earning royalties every time their work is resold. When Kings of Leon released their album as an NFT, it wasn't just a novelty. It was a glimpse into the future of how creators can take control of their art and their income. This principle ties directly to Epicurean philosophy. Epicurus taught that the wisest investment we can make is in ourselves, our knowledge, our health, our personal growth. Intellectual property is the externalization of that idea. When you invest in your skills, your creativity, your ideas, you're building assets that can outlast factories, borders, and even lifetimes. Looking ahead, the future of IP is even more complex and more powerful. In the age of AI, the boundaries of creativity are blurring. Who owns the rights to an AI-generated song, a machine-written novel, or an algorithm that diagnoses disease better than doctors? Data itself, the raw material of AI, will be one of the most contested and valuable forms of intellectual property. Those who control the flow of data and the algorithms that shape it will hold one of the greatest sources of wealth in human history. Here's the takeaway. Intellectual property proves that ideas are not just fleeting thoughts, they're assets. Protect them, nurture them, and they can become wealth that lives far beyond your lifetime. Because in the end, the richest empires are built not from stone or steel, but from imagination.